Hello everyone, how are we doing? Welcome to a new video. Today's video is going to be a very fun one. Have a lot of videos to react to. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and let's get started.
Women have a biological clock where women like to have certain things done by a certain age and a certain...
Please don't cancel me. None of the views expressed on this channel, well, no, they are my views. None of the views expressed by the videos on this channel represent my own. I think that's correct.
Age at a certain time. It's your plan. It's your business. Some of you want to have children before 30. Some of you want to be married and all that. And it's perfectly fine for you to want what you want.
Okay.
Men don't have a biological clock. We have a financial clock. And his is ticking, and he don't have it together yet. And he does not...
I mean, the analogy is quite true, right? What he's saying is women have a biological clock, meaning you can't have kids past a certain age, or you can try and do it, but it's not the most optimal decision. And men more or less have a financial clock. What I'm not sure that makes sense is the clock part for men. Because yes, men have a financial burden of performance. As a guy, you'll be judged on how much money you can make and how much resources you can acquire. Plain and simple. But is there a time frame for that? Most millionaires are made in the 40s, even 50s. And as a guy in your 40s and 50s, you can still do whatever you haven't done in your 20s and 30s.
Does not see a way that he can provide, protect, and take care of you. He don't see the clear path. So now he got to back up. So you got to wait. You got to let this guy catch up so he can get himself together.
I mean, yeah, like I said, most guys don't hit the financial stride till they're in their 30s and 40s. And most of the time, obviously because of the biological clock of women, they can't necessarily wait for you to get to that point most of the time. So, which is why I believe age gap dating was a big deal back in the day, because more or less it was when the woman's biological clock, as said by Steve Harvey, and the man's financial clock more or less met. It was where they more or less cross paths, right? The guy with money in his late to mid 30s and a young woman in the mid and late 20s. More or less, those paths always aligned, and that's what age gap dating was.
So you have $100 and you want to learn how to double it. People who tell you to invest in the stock market, start trading Forex, buy Bitcoin.
I like this guy. I used to watch him a lot when I was in university, but his voice is kind of annoying, isn't it?
But I'm here to tell you they're all wrong. You can easily turn that $100 into $1,000 by finding a skill that's very valuable and investing that $100 into learning it. The more valuable you are, the more money you'll have to invest in other opportunities.
I mean, the bottom line of what he's saying is very true, right? And it's something I've actually said before. It's you have £100, right? You can try and 10x that money, trying to invest in a very risky endeavor, very risky assets, or you can take that £100 and find a skill or find a course that you can learn that will enable you actually get more money in the long run. And I've said this in a lot of videos. The way to get rich, the way to increase your wealth is by increasing your income, not by trying to invest to make crazy returns. Investing is a way to ensure that your money doesn't lose value over time because of inflation. But to get that main money, to get that moolah, you need to find a way to increase your income itself.
Can people become a morning person?
3 days of pain, the rest is easy. So it takes about 3 days to shift the biological mechanisms to make...
It doesn't take 3 days. Let me hear him out, but it doesn't take 3 days to become a morning person. Tell that to all my friends that tried at university.
You a morning person. Now, if somebody wants to get up earlier, you need to stack the 4 primary, what are called Zeitgebers or timekeepers.
That word is so Zeitgebers. Is a legit word, fair enough.
Timekeepers. So named because some of the early chronobiologists that discovered this stuff and the underlying mechanisms were German. The number one Zeitgeber, the number one way to shift your circadian clock, which is this cluster of neurons that sits a few centimeters above the roof of your mouth, is to view bright light at a time when you want to be awake, aka the morning. Okay, so that's why I say get outside, look at the sun, toward the sun, don't force yourself to stare at it, don't damage your eyes, blink as needed, no sunglasses.
Yeah, I mean, he's always said this thing where it's like, okay, you want to become a morning person, look at the sun, but how does looking at the sun in the morning help you become a morning person? Like, you already need to have woken up. Or is he saying that by looking at the sun in the morning, you're sort of resetting your circadian rhythm? I'm not sure. Not sure yet.
No sunglasses, eyeglasses, corrective lenses, and contacts are absolutely fine, even if they have UV protection. Okay, so we've got sunlight. We've got exercise or movement of any kind. It could be jumping jacks, could be walking. You don't have to do a full workout. And then caffeine and, in some cases, food.
So I'm not sure how any of this helps you actually wake up at 5 a.m. Maybe it's me being slow. But all of this stuff you do when you've already woken up. But what can you do to actually wake up early? What tricks can he tell us to actually help us wake up early and become morning people?
I'm not big on eating first thing in the morning. I don't like to eat
Same.
until 11 a.m. or noon. That's
10
when my
a.m.
first meal arrives for me. Just naturally, that's when I get hungry. It's all caffeine and hydration prior to that. And then the fourth one is a social rhythm. If you're interacting with other people, you're going to train your clock to that as well.
No way.
Okay.
Yes. So there's a social component to it, circadian entrainment. Now, the pathways for these are from the eye, in the case of viewing.
I want to believe this so bad, but I think what he's more or less saying is if you have a training partner and you know that they are training you that morning, the mere fact that you know that the night before will help you wake up in the morning, which I can see how that logically makes sense, but I'm not sure if that by itself would make a difference, except he's saying all those four things together would help. I'm still not sure how UV on the sun will help you become a morning person, because yes, you wake up, you view the sun, and I don't see the connection. Maybe I'm dumb. Put in the comments below. Obviously, these two people are way more intelligent than me, so it's probably me. It's me. It's not them. It's me. It's not you. It's us. Fuck.
I would challenge anybody going into a job interview, ask more questions than the interviewer, especially open-ended questions. It makes the person you're talking to feel like they're interesting, feel like they're important.
100%. I wouldn't say ask more questions than the interviewer, but I would say for sure, in general, this advice is true. If you're interviewing, ask the person very open-ended questions so they can talk about themselves, because a lot of times interviewers like to talk about themselves a lot. So ask them very open-ended questions. Go to their LinkedIn, see what they're currently interested in. It could be about the climate, it could be they go cycling, it could be they're into fitness. Find common grounds and just keep on asking them questions about that, because that will leave a long-lasting impression on them, because they'll be like, you know what? Emeka actually cares about me, which I do, of course. Maybe.
Like they're important, feel like they're special. And guess what's not going to happen with any other interview that day? Nobody is going to ask them questions. What does it feel like when people ask you questions? Feels like you've thought critically before you came here.
Yeah.
100%.
Feels like you prepared. Feels like you're curious. I would challenge any.
No, that's very good advice. I actually completely agree. It's the way, because with interviews, these guys talk to so many people in a day. How do you make yourself stand out? Like, if you're interviewing for a very big and prestigious firm, it's not by having an MSc. It's not by being intelligent per se. It's by making yourself memorable in the fact that you want this person to remember the fact that Emeka asked about my current race times if the person does running. That's how you actually stand out.
You only get in debt when you don't understand the breakdown of your finances. When you
Okay.
make money, split it in half. Create a fucking account, call it the tax account. Put half of that there, so as you make money, you always put this money in the tax account. I never got to worry of giving the government their money, because that money's over there. I'm never gonna touch that money, because it's not mine. So now off of my half, I'm gonna take another half. This half is going over here. This half is for my next real estate investment. I'm only living off a quarter of my financial gain. You only.
Okay, everything else you said before clearly wasn't is not very applicable to most people. So, but the last piece of advice is his saying, try and live off just a quarter of what you make. So if on average most people in the UK make, I think, £3,000 a month, what's a quarter of that? That's £750. Who can actually live on just £750? And I'm not sure if this will include rent, right? Because if it does, there's no way that's your rent, more or less, for most people. In fact, most people are probably paying at least £1,000 in rent, which obviously no one likes, because that's a lot of money. So yeah, this is not, I'm yet to see a celebrity that doesn't give bad financial advice.
Here are 5 quick hacks you can start doing right now to get 10 times more work.
Let's
The
go.
Eisenhower Matrix, where you
Eisenhower Matrix, okay.
divide tasks into 4 categories: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent or important. Time block.
You know what? That's very good advice. The only thing I would add is to improve this Eisenhower Matrix is the time when you do this task, right? Because if it's urgent and important and you should do it now, don't start doing it at a time where you know your brain is not in the best position to actually do any sort of important task, right? If that means scheduling for tomorrow morning when you have the most energy, I would say do it, but the matrix itself makes a lot of sense. And again, there's no new advice under the sun. Do the most important task when you have the most energy. Plain and simple.
Time blocking is another system that involves scheduling specific blocks of time for different tasks or activities. This method prevents task overrunning and ensures dedicated time for both work and for rest.
Okay, time blocking. I'm a very big advocate of time blocking. In my work calendar, I time block my lunchtime, at least an hour in a day, so that no one can put a meeting there and actually get a space to do work in case my whole day is filled up with meetings. And I really think time blocking is a game changer, because when you have a to-do list, stuff can stay there forever. Now, a point he made was time block so that tasks don't overrun into a new task. So if, for example, you're meant to look at the financials for Revolut from 9 to 10, and then from 10 to 11, you're meant to look at the financials for Lloyds Bank, for example. Between 9 and 10, you're realizing that you're actually enjoying looking at Revolut financials. Just because your calendar says you should stop, that doesn't mean you should stop. Let them pull in the Eisenhower Matrix. If the Lloyds Bank financials are not needed urgently, it then makes sense that because you're in that flow state, to continue to look at Revolut's financials, because then you're enjoying it, you're going to get it done a lot quicker. It's time blocked doesn't mean that if you're in the flow state, if work is going well, that means you should stop. Which is why I'm also not a big fan of the Pomodoro technique, where you work for 25 minutes or 30 minutes, you take a 2 or 4 minute break, and then work again. You do that over 4 cycles, and then after one cycle, you take like a 30-minute break. And if I'm in the flow state and my timer goes off saying, oh, it's time to take a break, I don't want to take a break. Work is going effing well. I want to keep on working. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what you should do. Keep on working. F the Pomodoro technique. I said it. Not me. He said it. No, I said it.
And for rest. 3-3-3 model. Spend 3 hours on your most important project. Complete 3 shorter urgent tasks and complete 3 maintenance activities that
Yeah, man, listen, I know we need to make videos so we have content, but this is so arbitrary, right? Why 3 hours? Why not 2 hours? Why not 4 hours?
that keep your life running smoothly. A lot of these will have a central feature of something known as eating the frog, which is identifying the hardest task for the day and doing it before any of the work. But obviously the most...
Yeah, your hardest task should be done in the morning when you have the most energy. That's simple. I don't need to call it Emeka 448.
effective productivity hack is watching the full video and subscribing to my channel.
Oh, F off. F. Hope you found that video useful. If you did, like the video, subscribe, and actually, if you want to react to any video you see, send me on Instagram, Emeka Odo, or to my TikTok, Emeka Odo as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video.